Australia's transition towards renewable energy sources has attracted foreign investors who want to take part on this ambitious milestone. Sasha Hasa reports.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese shared his ambition for the country to be a future renewable energy superpower, as foreign investors see the potential behind this transition. Albanese outlined his government's plan to promote and accelerate Australia's transition towards renewable energy, along with plans to make it a future superpower in the said industry. According to the Prime Minister, the global shift towards clean energy is the country's most significant opportunity for growth and prosperity. Albanese also emphasized that solar energy will attract more capital than global oil production for the first time. Meanwhile, the sale of electric cars in Australia soared by 121% in the first half of the year compared to the same period in 2022, while the demand for electric vehicle battery materials will likely grow fivefold at the end of the decade. Moreover, stakeholders who attended the Australian Renewables Industry Summit in Canberra on Monday asked the Albanese government to allocate $100 billion over the next 10 years to boost jobs and reduce carbon emissions. An annual report published recently by the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation, the Australian energy market operator, showed that renewable energy sources remain the cheapest, most reliable energy system and most cost-effective option for meeting Australia's electricity needs. Australia has pledged to an 82% national renewable electricity target by 2030 and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 205 million tonnes in the same year. Reporting from Sydney, this has been Sasha Hasa, SMNI News, Australia.
A video of a brown bear caught casually strolling down the road while trailing a massive 30-foot tapeworm behind it goes viral. Trisha Molina has this story.
A documentary wildlife photographer had a startling encounter with a brown bear cub that appeared to have long white ropes attached to its rear end. But upon taking a closer look and reading the caption, viewers were horrified to find out that the long white strings were a bunch of tapeworms wriggling out of the carnivorous mammal's body. The host bear can accumulate the parasite, the broadfish tapeworm, from eating salmon. A tapeworm inside a bear can reach up to 9 meters or 30 feet. The video garnered over 20 million views within a few hours after posting. The unsettling video triggered a sense of shock and horror amongst viewers as they witnessed firsthand the reality of the life cycle of parasites and the actual condition of animals surviving in the wild. Another surprising fact is that humans can also become hosts for these parasites, wherein a 67-year-old Thai man excreted an 18-meter-long beef tapeworm, known scientifically as Taenia saginata, after getting dewormed in 2021. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Trisha Molina, SMNI News.
Tensions between India and Canada are rising following the Canadian government's accusations that Indian government is allegedly involved in the killing of a Khalistan separatist movement. In a retaliatory move, India had expelled a top Canadian diplomat just hours after Canada expelled New Delhi's. Jane Cognita files this report.
On Tuesday morning, the Canadian High Commissioner was summoned by the Indian Foreign Ministry and was informed about their decision to expel a senior Canadian diplomat based in India. According to the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, the Canadian diplomat has been asked to leave India within the next 5 days, and this decision reflected its growing concern at the interference of Canadian diplomats in their internal affairs and their involvement in anti-India activities. The Indian government's move comes after the Canadian government expelled Pavan Kumar Rai, the head of the Research and Analysis Wing, India's external intelligence agency. This escalated the tensions between both countries, but the person at the heart of the diplomatic dispute is Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was murdered last June. Nijjar was a leader of the Khalistan separatist movement and a Canadian citizen. He is the chief of Khalistan Tiger Force, or KTF, a banned terrorist outfit said to be involved in several terror activities in India. Nijjar had moved to Canada in the late 1990s, and in July 2020, India declared him a terrorist, following his support for the Sikh homeland in the form of an independent Khalistan state. Indian security agencies said he was actively involved in recruiting and training people for KTF and was a part of the separatist outfit Sikhs for Justice, or SFJ, which held a Khalistan referendum on September 10. In 2022, India's counter-terrorism body, the National Investigation Agency, offered a reward of 1 million rupees for information that will lead to Nijjar's apprehension or arrest. This made Nijjar one of the most wanted terrorists in the said country. And on June 18 of this year, 2 unidentified gunmen shot Nijjar dead outside a Gurdwara in Surrey, British Columbia. It was Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau who delivered an emergency address to lawmakers in Parliament on Monday to inform that the security agencies have been pursuing what he said were credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the Government of India and the killing of Nijjar in Canada.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the Government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Canada is a rule of law country. The protection of our citizens and defense of our sovereignty are fundamental.
Trudeau said he had raised the issue of the murder directly with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines of the G20 summit in New Delhi and urged his government to cooperate with Canada to resolve the matter. Modi, meanwhile, conveyed strong concern to Trudeau over the recent protests in Canada by Sikhs. Following Trudeau's announcement, Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly announced the decision to expel the Indian official. Meanwhile, India strongly rejected Canada's claims, calling it absurd. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs said, and quotes, "Such unsubstantiated allegations seek to shift the focus from Khalistani terrorists and extremists who have been provided shelter in Canada and continue to threaten India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The inaction of the Canadian government on this matter has been a long-standing and continuing concern." It added that the space given in Canada to acts of violence, including murder, human trafficking, and organized crime, is not new, and that India rejects any attempts to connect with such activities. Canada has the largest Sikh population outside the Punjab state of India. According to the 2021 census, about 770,000 Canadians reported Sikhism as their religion. Meanwhile, Khalistan is a separatist movement which began in the early 1980s. It seeks an independent and theocratic Sikh state in Punjab and other northern parts of India. Reporting, this has been Jane Cunita, SMNI News.
A UAE astronaut who had embarked on a historic space mission received a hero's welcome upon returning to his country. Grateru Omori tells us more.
The rulers of Abu Dhabi and Dubai warmly welcomed Emirati astronaut Sultan Al Neyadi after completing his 6-month mission to the International Space Station, or ISS. Al Neyadi handed down the Emirati flag to UAE President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, which made its way to space for the second time. The Emirati astronaut told Sheikh Mohammed of his vision that the UAE flag will also make its way to the moon and Mars, as he thanked the UAE leadership for making his childhood dream come true. The father of 6 received warm greetings from his family and expressed his happiness for the grand welcome he had received. Al Neyadi and his crew 6 astronauts arrived on the ISS on March 3 and returned to Earth on September 4. The UAE also shared its ambitious mission to explore the asteroid belt and fly by Venus between 2028 to 2031. Reporting from Dubai, this has been Grateru Omori, SMNI News, United Arab Emirates.